Are you feeling lost and in the dark when it comes to running Blender Python scripts that were generated by ChatGPT? Well, you're not alone. And in this video, I would like to share a powerful tool that is changing the game for artists who are using ChatGPT to create Python scripts. This tool allows you to stop your script at any line and investigate what's actually going on. It allows you to step through the script line by line and understand what is actually going on. This tool allows you to do the most underrated thing when it comes to developing Python scripts and add-ons called debugging. I'm talking about VSCode, and in this video, I'll quickly show how to set this up for yourself and show you a demo of how this tool works. Now, before we start, you might be thinking, oh, this is some kind of programmer thing and it's gonna take a long time to set up. I wanna stop you right there and say, it's very simple to set up. If you ever install programs to your Mac or PC, you're fully qualified to set this up for yourself. All right, let's dive into the setup. The very first thing that you need to do is you need to install a Python interpreter for your operating system. So you'll need to open your favorite browser and type in python.org and then hit the download and then select the operating system that you are running. And on that page, you should select a version of the Python interpreter that should match what you see in Blender's scripting editor. So if you open the scripting workspace, you can see in the interactive Python console the version of Python that Blender is running. I would highly recommend to download an interpreter where you see the first two numbers match. It doesn't have to be exactly what you see there. Now, if you're for some reason having trouble finding exactly that version, it's fine to download the latest version. It should work for you as well. Now, after you've downloaded the installer, just install the Python interpreter. And after that's done, you can head on over to code.visualstudio.com. And there you should download Visual Studio Code for your operating system. Go ahead and install that as well. Once you have Visual Studio Code installed, go ahead and open it and open the extensions, and we need to install two extensions that we'll need for this to work. One is going to be Python, so search for Python and install the very first result. It should have over 113 million downloads, so you won't miss that. And after you have installed the Python extension into Visual Studio Code, you should search for Blender and the Blender development extension right here. It should have more than 64K installs, and go ahead and install that for yourself. And after that's done, you should be all set to start debugging your Python scripts. I have really quickly gone over the setup, and if you have any questions and maybe you're running into some issues, I have 3 separate videos where I go over in detail how to install Visual Studio Code for Mac, Linux, and Windows. So I have a separate video for each one of those operating systems. I'll leave links in the description, so if you're having any trouble, go ahead and check those videos out if this was too fast for you. Now let's dive into the demo, and let me show you my ChatGPT prompt that I used to generate a Python script that I'll be showing you how to debug. And right here, you can see in the prompt, I've requested a 3-point light setup that would be generated with a Blender Python script. I've requested the lights to be parented to some empties, and those lights should be also tracking another empty. Their colors should be randomized, and the script shouldn't be clearing the scene each time it runs. Okay, inside of Visual Studio Code, I have opened a folder and created a new file called main.py, and I wrote down the code that was generated by ChatGPT. And at this point, you're ready to start debugging. You can go into View and open the command palette. I would highly recommend to just remember the shortcut with on Windows it's Control-Shift-P, and on Mac I think it's Command-Shift-P. Go ahead and search for Blender and then select Blender Start. I have a number of Blenders installed locally, and I'm going to be using Blender 4. So this is asking me which Blender I want to run my Python script in. And Blender has started in another window. I'm going to go ahead and clear this scene. Now we can run our script. Again, I'm going to go into the command palette and then type in Blender and then run script. And you can see that the script executed and it added the 3-point light setup. Now there is an empty that's controlling these 3 lights. So if I go ahead and move it, you can see the lights move with that. right? Also, there's a empty that the lights are tracking. So if I move that, the lights also continue to track it. Now you might say, this is great, Victor, but where is the line by line execution? And let's look at that right now. Let me clear the scene. And right here, you can see right next to the line numbers, if you start mousing over, you can see there's this like red dot appearing. And I'm going to go ahead and place it right here. And there's now a red dot next to this line right here. Let's go ahead and start the script again. This time I'm going to use the shortcut and then run the script. And look at that. And you can see that the script has started executing, but nothing has actually changed in Blender. And Visual Studio Code is showing me that we are actually right here. You can see that there's some variables right here. And I can go ahead and start using this button step over to start going line by line. And I'm going to go ahead and go to the next line. And you can see right after I executed this line, I have this variable, which is a list of tuples, which are basically coordinates for each one of those lamps that we're going to be adding. And you can see they're right here. So I can actually see how the data is changing as the script is executing. This is so powerful. Now, this is a for loop. And if you're confused about how for loops work, this is perfect to step through a for loop and understand how it goes. Now I'm going to continue to start pressing the step over, and I'm just going to press, right? So I'm going to go get to the end of the body of the for loop. I'm going to hit one more time the next step, and you can see that we looped all the way back up here. And that's how those for loops work. They just go in circles right here until they finish iterating over a list or any other container. I can go ahead and put a breakpoint, let's say right here, and I can hit the play button, so continue right here. And we're gonna go all the way here, right? So the rest of the loop executed, and this code has executed right here as well. We got more variables right here to look at and investigate. You can do that. And then there's another for loop here, and I'm gonna just go ahead and let the script run till its end. And you can see that it has finished executing, and we have understood how this script actually is running. I hope you can see that VS Code and ChatGPT are a powerful combo to take your coding skills to the next level. But what if I told you that there is a better AI coding assistant that's better than ChatGPT? And in this video right here, I'll show you what it is.